Good morning, my people, my people, my people. My name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora machismo. My people, this is another beautiful Friday morning, and the weekend are ahead of us. Don't forget to go to church tomorrow and thank the Most High for His blessings, His favors, and His gifts that He has provided for you all week long. My people, what can we say about Vincentians? What can we say about the citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines? What can we say? St. Vincent is now a fourth world country. There's nothing like a fourth world country, but we know a third world country is like the bottom of the ladder. And since we are below the bottom of the ladder, you have to say St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a fourth world country. My people, what can I say about St. Vincent and the Grenadines and my people? What can I say? The teachers and the supporters of the teachers are up in arms. My people, for over 8 months, teachers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and other civil and public servants have been put out of the job because of the vaccine mandate. Mind you, the teachers of Grenada took a case before the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, and the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court said that the vaccine mandate of the government of Grenada is unlawful and it is unconstitutional. Remember, the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, the OCS and the Caribbean is basically the same. Our court system is the same as the court system in Grenada, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court system. So if the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court in Grenada heard a case and said that the vaccine mandate, as was being implemented by the Grenada government, is unconstitutional, it means that the same thing is happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It means that the vaccine mandate in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is unconstitutional. I don't know why there have not been a court result from the hearing where the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union took the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to court as it relates to the dismissal of the teachers based on the government vaccine mandate. I don't know why no verdict is forthcoming, but a verdict should have been here by now. My people, it shows that the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court system is a corrupt system. They do not deal with equity. My people, however, sooner or later, the result will come to board, and the government will have to reinstate all of those teachers that are now out of a job, and they will have to get them back pay for all of the months that they were unlawfully terminated and had to do it out producing in our country and receiving a pay. The teachers will have to be given a back pay for all of those months they were not paid because of the unlawful termination that the government get involved in. My people, all across the United States, teachers' unions has been given hefty judgment, civil judgment, millions of dollars, because those states who caused those teachers to be terminated, those states who caused those teachers to be terminated are now having to compensate all of those teachers, not just by salary, but by hefty civil fines millions of dollars. They are corrupt. My brother, I don't know what is happening. Ralph Gonsalves can barely pay salary. He can barely pay the salaries of the civil servant. Now he is going to have to provide their salaries for the past 8 months or however long they are left out of a job. Plus, giving them, reinstating them, putting added strain on the government meager resources. Now let me tell you something. It will be important to see what the unemployment index of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is right now. But I doubt the Ralph Gonsalves administration has a means of measuring unemployment from a month-to-month, for a quarter-to-quarter basis, or for a half-yearly or yearly basis. They don't, because they are a backward government. Let me tell you something. They don't want to know what is the unemployment condition anyway, because it will reflect badly on their administration and the manner in which they are doing business and are managing the resources of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mind you, since 2001, tax being paid into the government has been cut in half. That means they have half as less money to administer the affairs of government. Remember, government don't go into hotel and private sector enterprises. Government depend on growing the economy, and when the economy grows, more taxes is paid, and they have more money to do the business of government. Since the tax that have been receiving since 2001 have been cut in half, it means that the government have half as less money to pay wages and to put in the programs that they have planned. That is why they are going that is why Ralph Gonsalves is going from Venezuela to Cuba to Nicaragua to the Americas. He is borrowing big loans to give the people a false sense of security. But the taxes of St. Vincent and Grenadines is not sufficient to perform the duties and the functions that governments are required to perform. My people, Ralph Gonsalves asked the teachers to reapply for their job. Ralph Gonsalves is a lawyer, right? Well, he don't have a law degree. He's a conditional lawyer based on a condition of the Commonwealth states, where you go to the University of Cambridge and you use the University of Cambridge Law Library and you study and do research, and if you feel you're competent enough to pass the board exam, you take the board exam. But he's not a lawyer that went to school and get an LLP or a LLB or whatever degrees in law that they're given. He don't have that. He and Kenneth John has the same law qualification, right? That is why I see Kenneth John stay away from the court. My people, discrimination in government practices. They fire a large number of the public servants, including teachers and other members of the public servant. Not only did they fire those people, now Ralph Gonsalves is asking the teachers to reapply for their jobs. He's asking the teachers to reapply for their jobs. What happened to the other members of the public and civil servants who were fired because of the vaccine mandate? You cannot practice indiscrimination against the citizens of your state. If you are asking the teachers to apply for the job, you have to extend the same courtesy to all of the people who are fired under the same framework. If you don't do that, it's discriminatory practice. And if a verdict come back on behalf of the teachers and says that the actions of the government in firing the teachers based on the vaccine mandate is unconstitutional. Therefore, he has an obligation to reinstate everyone that was fired by the vaccine mandate. Everyone, the police officers, the custom officers, everyone who was employed by the government. And guess what? Every citizen that was relieved from their position, whether it's a government post or a private sector post, have to be reinstated. My people, you see the position that Ralph Gonsalves and his idiotic laws has put not only his government but the private sector in. Because if the teachers get a verdict that the vaccine mandate, as was brought into law by St. Vincent and the Grenadines' incompetent government, is unlawful, it is not only unlawful for the teachers, it is unlawful for the custom officer, it is unlawful for the treasury worker, it is unlawful for all of those people in the private sector who were fired because of the unlawful vaccine law, the vaccine mandate that the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have put into place. So therefore, he is now causing the private sector that is barely making a profit to spend monies that they don't have. Listen to me carefully, people. You cannot practice law with bias. You cannot extend a courtesy to a section of a community when the entire community is being affected by the same thing. It's like coming and saying that if you are a teacher, you can commit murder and get a pardon. But if you are a civil servant, a custom officer, or a treasury worker, and you commit the same crime, a pardon is not extended to you. My people, the only thing is the teachers has invested the monies to take the matter to the courts. Right? We don't need the 3 and 5 unions in the island to take separate matters to the court. That is why the teachers should have partnered with all the other unions and take a class action case to the court, not only asking for a judgment, but asking for compensation for the inconveniences the government have caused the union members. Therefore, they would also be reinstated and they would have been recompensated. They would have been compensated for the inconveniences and the hardship that they would have experienced during that 8 or 10 months they were put out of a job and did not have a salary coming in to take care of their needs. My people, some of these people has mortgages. Some of these people have car loans. Some of these people had to go and beg their family for money or borrow monies from their families to take care of the needs of their household, their children and other things. My people, this is it. Another thing. Curtis King is the Minister of Education. He has a degree that gives him the ability to administer the affairs of an education sector. Yet Ralph Gonsalves is treating Curtis King like an imbecile, like an idiot, like a retarded man. He chopped up his ministries into several pieces, take away authority from him and give it to other people. He even take away some of Curtis King's authority and take it for himself. Now Ralph Gonsalves say he is the minister which is responsible for tertiary education. Tertiary only means third. So in this stage, it means the third state of education. First, you have the primary, you have the secondary, which is the second state, and we have the tertiary, which is the third state, the college state, the community college states. Right? But he is using tertiary. It only means the third state. After college, you have university, and you have the doctoral program. So education have about 5 or 6 stages of education. Primary education, secondary education, tertiary education, which is pre-college and college, and they have the fourth stage, university education, where you get your your bachelor's, your doctorate, your master's, and we have the doctoral programs. So that's about 5 stages of education. Now he control, but he's qualifying tertiary education, the third stage. That means from post-secondary go on. My people, that is not tertiary. But we know Ralph Gonsalves has a sexual problem where his name is always calling up in either rape, sexual abuse or something. Sexual assault or something. My people, knowing what I have taught you over the past few years, that when a man rape a woman and she does not speak, she suffers from what is called Stockholm Syndrome, where she becomes petrified of that rapist and is being able to be manipulated by the rapist. And they come to a stage where they support anything that the rapist do. That is why the politician in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who when he chose to join the political arm of the NDP and become a candidate, his wife came out and said she is not supporting him, she's supporting Ralph Gonsalves. His wife was suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, and she will support her rapist rather than her husband. It means her husband does not have authority over her, but her rapist had authority over her. My people, there's a lot of young people that Ralph Gonsalves did not get his power on. And his transition to minister with responsibility for tertiary education is going to give him access to these young people. But Dr. Friday stands still and says nothing. He knows that Michelle Andrews, Margaret Parsons, that girl in the United States, what's her name again? All of them bring rape charges, rape allegation and charges against Ralph Gonsalves. Ralph Gonsalves nully processes the charges. Dr. Friday knows, as a lawyer, it is unlawful for him to do such. But Dr. Friday is sitting back and allow Ralph Gonsalves to transition into a post of minister with responsibility for tertiary education. That means he is core minister of education, knowing that there is no system in government where the bureaucrats are overseeing all of those things, knowing that Ralph Gonsalves want those people to feel an allegiance to him, that is he who gives them the scholarship, not the government. And he will use that opportunity to take advantage of those young men and those young women, sexually take advantage of them. My people, with Ralph Gonsalves as minister with responsibilities for tertiary education, co-education minister, it means that the fuck for scholarship program is now in effect in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. When he rapes or he fuck you, he's going to give you a scholarship for you to stay quiet. Or if he is unable to handle you and raping you, you will have to pass up the kushung peng for you to get a scholarship. My people, St. Vincent is in a bad state. What can I say? The opposition minister sit back. He says nothing, he does nothing. Changes are happening within the ministerial portfolio, where a senile prime minister has proven to you how senile this man is. He can't keep a trend of thought for 20 minutes. Hopefully, when those little girls go into his office, his senility will kick in and he will forget that his plan is to rape them and they will get off. But otherwise than that, a new crop of professional will return to St. Vincent with degrees, but they are damaged and they will not be able to be any use to themselves, any use to their country, any use to their family, and if they have children, no use to their children. They'll be a total waste. My name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and Grenadines' favorite and most hated son. I gone. Talk to you sometime on the weekend.